Welcome to the Beauty Beyond Bella podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Yvette Suarez, owner and medical director of Bella Excellence, a diamond accredited anti-aging med spa in the Tampa Bay, Florida area. On this show, we explore the latest trends in health, beauty, and anti-aging medicine while celebrating the inspiring journeys and achievements of our guests. Welcome, Dr. Ali. I'm so excited to having you here. So you are the owner of Pioneer Medical, and you actually own a lot of different companies. I want you to kind of tell me a little bit about your background and how you went into neurology.
So neurology is something definitely we did much later on. I think this whole journey started 21 years ago. I moved to Florida. I finished my training in Yvette, and then later on at UMass. Came down here and started working with the hospital system. And I was an employed hospitalist for the longest amount of time. And I thought that there were some things that we can do differently. And not that we are saying that we are anything, we are better or worse than anybody else, but I think that there are certain things which were very mission oriented. I think I always said that I thought that there were inefficiencies. The trainings were not done. We are trained to be good doctors. We are trained to download the diagnosis and treatment, right? But we are not trained to communicate better with each other, with our physician, with our patients, with our colleagues. We are not trained, to serve maybe in some other ways with this being a physician. Because we create this box that we are just doctors, right? And doctors specialize. So somebody's a hand of a doctor of a hand, and somebody would say, no, I only treat pinkies. We are subspecialists, right? So as I was doing this, I started to feel that the biggest problem that we have is accountability as far as quality is concerned. And when you look at quality does not mean the 5-star rating for any place or the Google rating or any of the leapfrogs that we all look at. But quality basically means somebody's mother dying in the hospital, somebody's son, somebody's wife, my mother, my father. If they go into the hospital, you cannot talk to the physicians. Sometimes you don't make it easy. Sometimes when my dad in the hospital and I am trying to reach the doctor, I don't know who it is, right? So quality means that it affects somebody's life. It is personal. And I always feel that a human factor, anything in medicine or in business, is the biggest element which decides if you're going to be successful or not. So this is around that time I thought that maybe I can do something different. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not trained as in this in any way or form. I tried to an MBA, John Hopkins, after two quarters, I decided that this is just too much. I just cannot go to and fro, to more and run all these things that I do. But I knew that that I believed in it, and I always say that I looked into my soul, and there are 3 pillars of Pioneer. You can find it anywhere. The first one is the culture. So when I came to this country, I started as a carpet cleaner and in Chicago, and I always thought that if ever God gives me an ability to create employment, maybe I will create just employment. And not employment that somebody is in my company. Nobody is a boss. I'm a paid CEO. We don't have employees. We just work with each other. So culture needs to be very horizontal and transparent. And I think that we have done a good job at that. The second part is the second pillar is compassion, and compassion is a big element in every day. But compassion is not just for our patients, but could be right? Do we have those punitive discussions, or do we have write-ups, or when we treat our patients, are we just treating them with vancomycin or holding their hand, right? Because sometimes that really that helps more sometimes than medically. Or just acknowledging somebody's pain, not just typing it in the computer, right? Somebody saying, I have severe back pain, I say, oh, about that, or night over time, right? That we lose the message sometimes, right? So that was important to me and is important to me. And the third one is quality, which I already talked about. So I think with these things in mind, I went to the hospitals where I used to be employed, and I asked that they were to fire me, and I will do this pay, we will do this on our own, and I had some really not very good uh, positions who were working with me, and we also okay, we'll found something different, and let's see what we can do. After a few months, these hospital CEOs like, okay, we'll fire you and we'll keep you around. And I told them that if it will fail, I'll definitely crawl back up to you. You can hire me, you'll save some money. And it's been about 11, 12 years, and we've grown to be somewhere around 300 dementia. The back group, we started with the hospital medicine. We cover all the way from North Dallas area to Orlando, all the way from Ocala, all the way to Carroll Wharf. We cover also post-acute, almost 40 facilities, and then started with critical care and pulmonary and interventional health programs, followed by inpatient outpatient neurology with two centers, one a neuroscience center in Tampa and another pain stroke center. But I would rather talk about the process than the extent of it, because like I always say, people say that you were getting bigger, and our goal was still and should always be that we should be better. The rest can take care of itself one way or the other. Yeah, we don't want to be the biggest. We never want to be the biggest. We just want to do something good.
No, I love that. And our internal pillar is also culture.
Yeah.
Right? Culture within each other, with our staff, for our patients, what we can do for them, what they bring to the business. And for compassion, you don't really hear doctors talk about that a lot. I think of all of them, that's my favorite and the key. I think, like you said, look, we get in the room, right? And I don't do internal medicine, but when I take my mom, and I could totally see that Kurt talking about her pain. And this is that 1 out of 10 quality. How does it happen? There's no, I'm so sorry you're in pain. I'm going to do everything I can to kind of figure out what that's going to be like.
Empathy.
How can I help you, right? Put yourself in that position. And we're so used to just charting and throwing medications out that we're not. It's really kind of part of our whole wellness. There's a whole entire human being in front of us. And we're very strategically smart and well-trained to look at different diagnoses. But like you said, there's not an entire wellness platform anymore.
No, there is not, and I think this is where we and I think when I started looking into that, how can we have an academic program, the pioneer too, and to train the residents and all of those. And the first thing that I said that our job is not to just train them to be good doctors. Our job is to make sure that they are better and better or good human beings. And that sometimes require reflection. Sometimes it requires a pause for us to think, and sometimes it requires somebody else to tell us. My mother used to say in Spill that if you are not brave and compassionate enough, at least pretend.
Pretend till you made it, till you become it.
Eventually you may get it. Yeah. But I think that is a valuable thing for us to think about, especially in medicine, and not just in business too. I mean, we are so wrapped up around policies and procedures and that we forget that we are dealing with people. I mean, because it is more that the margin, not the profit, or the profit line, or it is not accounting, and we are dealing with people. And
This would be hard. So in this profession, right, leaving the ER and leaving not being in a private practice, I get to spend an hour with my patients. I get to talk, and I always tell patients it takes me 15 minutes to treat them, the 30 minutes to catch up on life, right? What's going on? Who's getting married? What's the gossip, right? And so that's our little time. I kind of feel bad for a lot of the doctors because I think in insurance, they're told you have 10 minutes and you need to move to the next patient. How do they fight that? How do you fight that in your body?
You can fight it. You just have to find ways uh, around it. Sometimes you're not. I mean, there are pressures, right? When you look, I mean, that's not our industry, but when you look at the, value-based care, and some of these positions are 24/7 on, because there are high demands to meet the bottleneck, which in turn depends upon where the compensations are coming from. So you have to have an X amount of time or volume to justify that. And sometimes it is difficult. In our group, we like to keep our census at a certain number, because even if you are seeing 25, 30, 35 patients in a day, it's difficult to do the job the way it needs to be. But the pressures will continue to go up. They're not going down until some radical things happen, which is not happening. And the other thing is that intellectual medicine is not equal to procedural medicine. When you think about the complex, hyperparathyroid issues or pseudo-hyperthyroid issues, or when you are looking at the complexities of metabolic disorders, or when you're looking at some of those neurological issues, it doesn't come every day, right? It requires thought process, thinking, but a surgeon can do an X amount of surgeries in a day and still able to be compensated. Interventional medicine is far rather than complaining in any way or form. I'm just saying something to think about. If we want our clinicians to spend more time, they have to be honest with themselves first, because that is important. The second part is that they have to be, that is the right thing for the patients too, that they need time. And sometimes doctors are not when they can. And I think that that's very unfortunately realize with all of us.
You start to see a little bit more of a trend, concierge medicine, and I think it's because people are looking for an all-in-one, both allopathic and allopathic, right? You kind of have a combination. And what I went to med school, we were not taught that, right? We were taught nothing homeopathic, and I always was against that. As an ER physician, we made sure everybody survived, they needed to take care of it, and off they went. As I've gone older and got to do functional medicine, I really understand it is so important to do the whole entire package. No, there's not one right way. I mean, we're physicians, we're always going to do the medical way, but there should be a combination.
I mean, it's just to care about the whole person, right? The holistic part of it. You're absolutely right. I think that one of the things that I always say that, to take the pain away from somebody, it is not just the morphine. It is sitting down, making them, and it is evidence-based medicine. The better you sit and explain and talk about different approaches, the patients are more compliant, the patients' outcomes are better, and they feel good about themselves. And I think the very end of the day, that is important. Like when we were opening our neurology, so is one of the vain things I said was that it is not just about the brain. This is about bringing the peace of mind. Even with the worst glioblastomas of the brain tumors, the patient, by the end of the day, is not just a patient, is not a 75-year-old man. It's Joe Williams, who's related to somebody who has this brain tumor, and he wants a peace of mind that he's been given the best of advice, and that goes with what you were saying.
Yeah. You talked a little bit about empathy. It's interesting. When I went through my cancer journey, I remember walking through and going through all the radiation, and I never told anybody who I was, and I went through all of it, and I could tell that medicine had become so common for them to see patient after patient after patient. They literally lost any empathy that they had. And it's sad, isn't it?
It's transactional. It's transactional, unfortunately, and I think some of us do not have a choice because of the burden they have to carry, and some of us choose not to. And empathy is different than pity to begin with, right? And like I was saying earlier, that even if you are not compassionate, there are ways you can be, and empathy is a big part of it. We call the pearls of empathy, that they're, legitimization of somebody's suffering. Somebody says that I have, bad pain, and you can say, yeah, I know, I've seen patients, I've been there, and when you have this, you go through this period. That itself means something. That is, you're affirming the release, right? The other way to do it very well could be that just telling them that somebody with cancer, that I am with you, partnership, right? But regardless of where we go, we are with you on this thing together. Whether it is, I'm sorry that you're going through this. Those things mean something, and it makes that the person feel good, that somebody else can connect with them, but at the same time, they feel that they are not alone.
The Formula Wellness 4 cornerstones are nutrition, functional wellness, aesthetics, and brain health. These serve as a guide rail for individuals that are pursuing longevity inside and out. Formula Wellness is setting the new benchmark in preventative healthcare and aesthetics. Thank you for all of your support. To learn more, please visit www.formulawellness.com. I totally believe in make eye contact with my patients, not just sitting there charting and not looking at them. And of course, being a light girl, I'm the touchy-feely girl, so everyone has to get a hug. I hold their hands, I pray with them, whatever it takes to let them know they're not alone, right? There is other people that care about them and really wish them well on their journey. And I'm not just saying that to get them out of the chair. I think we need to learn that better. I think maybe we need to go back to the residencies and have some classes in empathy.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea. We consider that the boothless side of it. I had a guest talking about how she does, she sees a therapist for wellness to keep herself check and balance. And I thought, wow, that's kind of interesting, right? Not to treat something, but to kind of help her maintain feeling good.
In our group, we hold training sessions every few months, where because again, even if you learn something or you look at something for an hour, even with a PowerPoint, you retain 20%, right? You lose. So the only way we can retain the message if we hear the message again and again. So we do these training sessions every few months, from how to be better communicators to our positions, how to empathize, how to provide a better patient experience to the patient. I mean, even if you're just sitting down, the patient in the room, the patient feels that versus if you're standing up, patient feels that you're 18 seconds. They are spending more time with you rather than just coming in, doing the same thing while you're standing. If you are making the eye contact, right? If you would have the right appropriate touch to the hand or something, I think that it means something. Rather than just saying, so patient comes in, the first question in the ED or after hospital, so you came here for chest pain, right? Rather than, so what brought you here? Right? It opens up under the open-ended questions, right? And then we say that, okay, so we know that your chest pain is not from the heart, so you can go home. The patient really cares about his father had lung cancer. He didn't care about the heart itself. He won't know if you did a chest test, do you see a nodule in there, right? Or you say that, oh, by this evening, I haven't had the results. You can go home. The patient doesn't really care. He wants to go home and feed his dog.
Well, because we also don't ask what are you most concerned about, right? We ask the symptoms. Because we're diagnostically making our decision immediately as they're checking off their symptom list.
Right. And and then we don't listen as much, right? An average clinician interrupts between 10 to 20 seconds. I think that number is around 50 seconds from quote me, that was somewhere around there. And sometimes they do this exercise that we ask two people to sit side by side, and one person has to talk about themselves for 90 seconds. The other person cannot interrupt. You just have to listen, just have to echo what they said, or just agree with them. And it is tough to listen for 90 seconds. But that's an exercise. That's how you. But it is important to have these things. I think we do a lot of CNEs about treating, different kind of bacteria and COVID and whatnot. But another aspect, what we mentioned, is important. Like it needs to happen.
I love that. I think we both come from very humble upbringings. I love that you said everyone kind of stays at a platform. I always believe that we should always be humble ourselves, right? God gave us all of these privileges and we need to be able to take care of everyone around us. Tell me a little bit about your experience with your staff. You talk about how Ardubon is kind of an equal platform.
So I'm a biggest, I'm not just saying this because of this podcast, but I'm a biggest believer that you just have to be. You may have, something today, you may not have it tomorrow. So the only thing that we have is this moment. Are we present this moment, right? And I think that roles are of course significantly more important than any titles. I almost always introduce myself with fake CEO because I feel that I'm a fake CEO or came from nothing. I mean, I got a guy and now maybe more. But it is important that people understand what goals are. I mean, I give this example. You can be the best heart surgeon, right? But the person who doesn't, the person who cleans the room is not there. It doesn't matter how good a heart surgeon you are, with an infection and every other the cleaning person is as important as the truck driver to bring the supplies to the facilities. Right? If the truck driver decides not to come in, no heart surgeon. Right? It did all those things. Right? And if the heart surgeon doesn't get the supplies, who makes them here or outside? So we are all role dependent, and we all of us are equally busy. Nobody is less busy or more busy. Different busy, right? So that comes there, the respect of people for the rules that they have, and I think it will not have an executive office. I so no cubicle like like my other colleagues. I think that sometimes these just become and these are the leadership traps I always talk about. That either your self-awareness is not there, or your ego is too big, or you're always competing, not with yourself, with others. You always think everything is in black and white, not with the shades of gray. You always think that, you want to control everything, or you take too much time to make decisions. But I think that, and knowing that it's okay for for the people who work with you to fail. It's okay, as long as not drastic, things that happens in our career. But I think that thinking that those lines, I think that make you happy, and make people around you happy. Their support is very important.
That's why you mentioned failures. I heard a quote on TV yesterday that said, mistakes are dues that we have to pay to live a full life. And I thought, absolutely, we all make mistakes. We all have failures, but those failures are what helps us get to the next season or next stage of our lives. So I heard you were writing a book.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. So I have a book coming out. The title is The Art of Failing Forward. And the subtitles is Fractured but Fearless. I made many, and but I've also seen that people like to talk about all the fancy stuff they have done. Right? So I can talk about some of the fancy stuff, but you don't talk about what it takes. Right? It takes a lot. Uh, so the book starts with a quote from Nelson Mandela that I never lose, either I done or I you know or read. So what you learn from your mistakes, I think, is important. I'm paraphrasing that quote, put it somewhere around there. We each chapter, and I do a lot of photography and painting and sculpting and all of those things. So every chapter is standalone kind of a chapter about something that I observed or went through myself. And failure of in leadership, you know, my concept of work-life balance, my concept of leadership traps, uh, relationships, relationship with yourself, with God, amorous relationships, and everything. That what is important, what you learn, and what you learn from it. But the most important part is you fall forward, and now
I like that fall forward.
you have to fall forward. You have to dust your day to dust up your hands, and otherwise we'll be drowned in sorrow for the rest of our life. That, oh, I wish I could have done this. I wish I could have done that. There's always somebody who has done things better than you. Always somebody. Somebody is smarter than you, more educated than you, has achieved more than you, and that many other ways, right? So all you can do is learn from what you can and try to just be better, or slightly better.
I agree. Success is plans, but also failures are going to get you things. We don't learn unless we fail.
And success comes at a price. And I always warn people that literally that what you wish for, you should know what the price tag is. Success is a price tag.
But you can do some wonderful things to success. So I gotta switch topics to your foundation because I believe in this world. Like we talk about giving, whether you give in a small amount, we talk about giving your time versus financially, but all of that is giving, and we need to give back to the community. You have a nice, wonderful foundation.
Yeah, I've always been interested. My parents have been involved with a charity organization, and uh, and I remember 8 9 years ago I fought one of my partners at the pod, and I said to him that we this country gave us an opportunity that doesn't exist anywhere, and how are we paying back? You know, are we? What are we doing to the community that we live in? I always say that the short-term being is paid by my patient, right? So what am I doing? I mean, I'm always loyal to where my need comes in, right? So we need to do something. We don't need to save the world, and we need to do something ourselves. We should not look for donations. We should not look for grants. We should not have any financial transactions. So today, Pioneer Medical Foundation serves thousands of homeless individuals at different levels. We have a startup clinic, we have mobile ads, we have refactors. We do clinics in South Asian Army, Trinity Cafe. We have health fair. There, homeless people comes in and from showers to manicures to haircuts to prayer booths. There are 20, 30 doctors over there. They get VIP, high-end lunches. People have clothing. That I met this guy last January, and it made me happy that this guy came in and literally was a mess, and we all could have been in that place. So he went for the shower, the haircut, and this and that, and he said that I may have an interview for a job tomorrow, and I don't have any clothes on. Like, let's go. So we get to where we have all the suits and the shirts and every other kind of clothing combination from people. So I made it choose few things, and I got a call later on that he went for and he got a job, right? So that helps. That helps your soul. Yeah, that helps your soul a little bit. But I think that all of us have been in a situation we cannot give. Maybe at times, sometimes all of us, may not have the means, like you mentioned, right? So the time we take care, right? We can get 2 hours of time a month. Let's start with 2 hours, right? Go to the food pantries, go to any charity, go to the dog shelters, doesn't matter. But when you do something beyond yourself, it I I think it is just good for your soul.
Does it warms your heart?
It warms-
It's almost selfish. It makes us feel so much better to help others.
Right. And I always say that too, that if it is not hurting you a little bit, you're not giving enough. It has to hurt some bit. Either the transport going to it needs to cut a little bit, and then you will feel better. Sometimes in order to regenerate, you need to clean take a little bit. Just the thought.
Well, you have been amazing. I had one more question to ask you, but first, I want to thank you for coming on your birthday. This was so special. Happy birthday. To be 30 again is amazing forever and ever. You look and feel 30 forever.
It's downhill every year, but thank you.
It's not downhill. Like you said, we trip forward, we move forward, we fail forward, we lift ourselves up forward. And every day that we are on this planet is a blessing that we can make a difference in someone else's life. And I really thank you for sharing such inspirational stories and try to change medicine. And I don't think we have enough people that try to do that.
Thank you, but there are a whole lot. Sometimes they just don't know what they get, and I think that these are the avenues that we can inspire. This is what
We're gonna inspire someone else.
Inspire people, right? That's what you're doing, and that is the role of you and I and everybody else. We can inspire one person. It's just like a dark room, right? Inspired with one person with a light and just slowly lights up the whole room, right? And just saying. That's what.
Every year, and it's very impactful and long. So I'm gonna ask you one question.
Sure.
What does beauty mean to you?
Considering that I've always been interested in photography and art and all of those things, the society view of beauty could be just how make the face looks to the body looks and all of those things, and but also on individual levels. I mean, I think that beauty is more about authenticity. I mean, if you look at it is not just internal, external. Even if you just look around nature, I mean, or just look around and you will see something different. When you look at a painting, right? I mean, if you look at Mona Lisa painting, Mona Lisa itself is not the most beautiful face, right? But it is beautiful, right? Her hands, the way they does not match the face. That's working woman. And you look at the potato videos from Van Gogh, it's a beautiful painting, right? So that is sight beautiful, right? But then feel beautiful. Somebody smiles to you. That makes me feel beautiful. Right? It makes me feel happy. Right? When I look at, when I hear the sound of water falling, that's beautiful. Right? When you look at the sun, going down, or that is beautiful. So beautiful is a moment, maybe. Maybe it is. It is more about taking a pause for a second, right, and appreciating it. Because if you're not taking a pause, that's just a blur. Yeah. Right? The most beautiful things just passes by when we are driving on a cell phone, right? And you're not really absorbing anything outside. Could be a building. So it all really, I think beauty is not just about perfections, but a lot of perfections too. And it's a yin and yang.
Well, like you said, beauty was authentic. And I love that it's the way you feel, right? And I think that's always so nice. And I always tell people, walk down the street and smile at a stranger. You can make their day.
the biggest gift you can give to somebody. I feel comment on people and they smile. I said, made my day. I try to smile on my face too, even in the worst of my days, because it is the cheapest gift you will give to somebody. Or just say something nice. That's beautiful. So it all is in the same arena. It's not just society. I think if we rely a lot of, and not say that there's no value of that. Of course, there's value of that too. There's value of taking care of yourself and all of those things. But that is maybe a very small percentage of beauty that we are focused on. Taking a pause. I think it gives you a lot of the true perspective of beauty.
So now everyone out there has to take a pause, smile like stranger, say something nice, and it'll fill your heart too. Thank you, Dr. Ali, for coming and being with us on your birthday once again.
I appreciate it. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be here.